I just kind of told her that I'm open to conversations with her.
You're open to getting to know her. And then saying you're 100% on me but want to get to know her.
We have good conversations. I enjoy speaking to the girl. She's a pretty girl. She's good to look at. Do you know what I mean? It's
My question to the producers is, why did we bring these two people in? We have people not fitting in the bedroom, and yet we continue to bring people. There are people that are annoying in the villa that don't bring anything that we could take out. Case in point, Samraj and Micah. Priya as well could go. Aiden could go. Ellie could go. Finn could go himself. Now that he's part of the storyline, I guess he's not going anywhere. Lola and Fitz could also go, so there was no need to bring in new bombshells before you emptied out the villa. You should have emptied out more people than you did. 2 people wasn't enough. The 2 people that you sent out, well, Mara on her part was more entertaining than the rest of the people that you kept in the villa. So I'm sort of side-eyeing production. And then Lorenzo, for me, this is what I'm going to say about Lorenzo. Lorenzo came into the villa thinking he was going on holiday. Didn't expect to catch feelings for anyone. And because the girls he was in couples with, even Jasmine, he really didn't feel them like that. This is why he was happy to play along and be goofy and silly. Then he met Julia. I feel like Lorenzo really likes Julia. He said that's the best couple he's been in. Look at his body language around Julia. He maintains eye contact. He is physically affectionate with her outside of the bed. Yes, it's not as much as maybe Julia would like, but at least he's trying to be the best version of himself for her. And I think him entertaining the new girl was him trying to self-sabotage. And then I called it. If you've been here a while, I called it. I said, Finn, I don't trust him because Finn is friends with Kieran. Not that I'm saying I don't trust Kieran, but Kieran was in a situationship that ended up winning. And I feel like this is what Finn and Ellie are. I feel like Finn was waiting for his person because he couldn't find that person or because he didn't have the cojones to stand up for himself. This is why he came back single from Casa, and this is why he continued to pretend like he was with Ellie 100%, and he told he was 100%, knowing for a fact that his head would turn as soon as someone that looks like the people that is used to dating come in. And sadly for Ellie, she's in the situation, yeah, she might as well self-eliminate. Because there's no need for her to continue to stay in the villa. They're not going to continue to bring in guys for her. Even if she does make up with Finlay, it's not going to be the same as it was the first time round. So I think if she were herself and she stood on business, I would respect myself enough to sort of stand up and leave. Really, I would stand up and leave. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by to go, Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island UK, Season 13, Episode 39. Okay, so you have Lola in the den. She's sitting with Fitz, Samraj, and Micah. And Micah sort of asks her, so what's happening? I understand you had a conversation with Julia. And Fitz says, yes, I spoke to Julia. We squashed the beef. We've agreed to move on, and that's it. Lola on her part is very bitter. She's very bitter. The audacity to open her top and bottom lip and say, oh, she's got an opinion and she has to say it even if it's not needed, and even if it amounts to nothing. She's on TV. She just wants the clout. It's like, darling, you're sitting on TV as well. Why not work as a detective? Why did you feel the need to leave your detective job to come and be on TV? Because you also wanted clout. You really wanted clout. Sadly for you, the mask has slipped and everyone can see you for who you are. And the idea that you want to make it seem like this girl is the one that's in the wrong when you were just as bad, if not worse, because you refused to take or hold your partner account. Instead, you wanted Julia to be held to a higher standard than anybody else. Make it make sense. Anyway, you have Aiden and Priya having a conversation. They're talking about the Martha situation because during the game it came out that Aiden and Martha still wanted to continue to explore. Sadly, they didn't inform their new partners that this is what they wanted to do. And Priya's saying, she feels some type of way because she's been messed about in couples by so many people in the villa and she doesn't want to continue to be the victim. Priya loves the situation because the more she's a victim, the more she has stuff to talk about, the more couples she has to sort of chase clout with, because she's going to talk about every single couple that she was in. They say she's a game player, they say she's a fan, and she's doing everything in order to stay relevant. Well, this will allow her to stay relevant again because every week she's been on camera where other people, once their storylines they've reached their arc, they've been sort of moved to the side. And so I think Priya loves this. For Aiden to say, they'd agreed with Martha that he would be the one pulling her, she wouldn't pull him, but he's decided, he wants to make Priya his priority. No, he knows maybe with Priya he might last longer in the villa than with, Martha. That's it. You have Jordan and Martha having a conversation. Jordan is saying he didn't understand that there was a conversation happening behind his back between Aiden and Martha. Martha said, I was shocked when Aiden picked Priya because that's not what he told me. He never once brought up Priya and Casa. He never once brought up Priya when we came back. So the idea that he suddenly coupled up with Priya is what I didn't understand. And this is why I needed clarity. And I pulled him for a chat soon after the recouplings. But I've decided I want to make you my priority. I don't think Aiden is it. And it's like, you don't want Aiden. You want the idea that Aiden will keep you safe. That's it. She wants the idea that Aiden will keep her safe, and that's all. And so the idea that we're all being influenced, that Martha really has feelings for Aiden, I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think any of the girls has felt Aiden. I think they've all had an ick from Aiden, and production have kept trying to bring in new girls for him because they want him to stay in the villa. Aiden then rocked up and asked to speak to Martha, and he was saying, I just wanted to talk. What do you want us to do? Do you want to continue exploring? And Martha said, no, I'm happy in my couple, so I'm going to continue in my couple. He's decided he's happy in his couple as well. He doesn't want. They both don't want to jeopardize their connection. No, they don't. They don't want to jeopardize their sort of place in the villa, not their connection, but their place in the villa, because they know that if they start being messy, people are going to vote against them, and I think this is why they've both decided to do that. You then had Princess Julia come up. So she then had a conversation with Martha and said to Martha, let's pull the girls, let's have the girls around the fire pit, and let's have a conversation and squash the beef. I think the thing is, if you've lived in the UK or if you've been around people from the UK, you'll notice that at times people don't always give their honest opinion. They always like to put this facade that everything is okay. And so I think the problem the girls have with her was she was brutally honest. And in some cultures, it's okay to be brutally honest. That's who they are. They would rather you tell them the truth than not. Obviously, when the girls gathered around the fire pit, Lola refused. She said, I'm good where I'm at. She's felt like, Julia is very disrespectful. She just wants her moment in the spotlight. And it's like, buddy, so do you. You found your man. Why didn't you pack your bags and go home? Why didn't you pack your bags and go home? Why did you still need to continue to stay in the villa? All the girls you could tell felt some type of way about it. They didn't like it. They didn't like what happened there. And so anyway, they sat around the fire pit. You had Julia apologize sincerely to the girls and say, I know some of my opinions might not have come across the right way. I didn't mean to be malicious. I think she was annoyed. I think she was annoyed because of how patronizing Lola was to her. This is why she said the swear word. I don't think she would have just out of the blue started swearing at Lola had Lola not been disrespectful and derogatory towards her. You have, everyone saying, we understand you don't need to sit us all. We're good. And so she said, I'm learning. I'm a work in progress. And I think a lot of people, it's a teachable moment. I love someone who has a teachable moment, an aha moment, a moment of self-reflection, and is able to say to own up and lift up their hands and say, I'm sorry, I did make a mistake. This is what I'm going to do to be the best version of myself. So for her to own up to the girls and say, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to offend anyone. I think at times my delivery is not always what I intended to be. I remember Scott saying the same thing on Love Island All Stars. Anyway, Priya decided to chime in. Why Priya decided to chime in, I don't know. I think Priya feels like Fitz and Lola are the favorite couple, and this is why she's trying to be on Lola's side. Oh, Lola was uncomfortable about your opinion. Well, she was uncomfortable because it's the truth. Her man did play her. He did play her in the villa, in Casa actually. And so the idea that, you want to stick up for Lola and you're going to take sides with Lola, good for you. Hope things work out for you. Anyway, I love the little chant and the little girl circle that they had. The boys were sort of questioning where the girls are coming up together. What's going on there? What's happening? And it's like, what's happened here is Julia has reached her story arc. She's gone from villain to victor, and sadly Lola is still in the villain era, and she's stepping into that era, and it's really going to be really sad for her. The islanders then went and got ready for the night. Obviously, Fitz was feeling some type of way. When the girls were chatting, he kept reassuring Lola and telling her, I'm here, I support you, I support you. But once people started getting ready for bed, he sat down and had a moment of reflection. And I think he could see it's not a good look, because if it's being shown that the rest of the girls are sitting down with this person that his partner is saying is the villain and are making amends and are developing and growing and apologizing and bonding, this is not a good look for him. The 25K, he can just see it flying past him, and there's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do because he promised this woman that he was done and she was his girl. He loves her. He's exclusive. He was about to get married. He was talking about Lorenzo being his groomsman, and so it's really sad that he's played himself by not allowing himself to experience the full Love Island journey. You should have had the word with Kieran, because Kieran in season 11 sort of connected with Nicole, stayed with Nicole, failed to explore anyone else, and ended up leaving the villa, and they didn't last long. And the same thing happened with Sammy. And so I wish he had spoken to someone before coming into the villa, and they told him the truth that you need to be open to the full Love Island experience. While the islanders are getting ready for the night, you have Priya speaking to Jasmine and saying, why have I always been in love triangles? Why is it I can't find someone who comes in for me? That's because you want the attention, love. If you really wanted someone who wanted to explore with you and was only fixated on you, you would have found that. But every single time you get that, you want to be a part of a love triangle because you want something that's going to keep you in the villa. Priya then had a conversation with Lola and was trying to tell Lola that we had a chat with, Julia. She was able to apologize to the girls and we've made amends. And we have agreed that we're going to let sleeping dogs lie. For Lola to say, oh, she's just after clout, she just wants the attention, she's just after the drama, I'm not here for the drama. It's like, love, you are on TV looking like a villain. You are on TV looking like a villain. When she comes out, she's going to be that person who says, oh, you only see 1 hour and 24. Well, the 1 hour that we saw wasn't good. It really wasn't good. And you really need to do some work for yourself because this is not a good look for you. Anyway, you have all the islanders get ready for the night. Everybody goes to bed. Fitz is regretting his decision to stay coupled up with this woman, but hey, you make your bed, you lay in it. You had Kevin and Jasmine, they were busy. They really were busy. So was his brother. Him and Priya were busy as well. And it's like, did the brothers tell each other that, let's go, let's do what we do? I don't know. I feel some type of way about the Jasmine and sort of Kevin situation, but it's not my place to pick. It reminds me of Melanie and Sincere from Love Island, USA. In the morning, the islanders wake up. As soon as they wake up, they receive a text message which reads, Finley, Lorenzo, Tommy, Jasmine, Martha, and Priya, 2 new bombshells are waiting to date you. Get ready and head out into the garden. And it's like, oh, it's about to be messy. I didn't see anything stand out about both islanders, the both bombshells. I really didn't. I think with Alisa, she's 2.0 of Ellie. That's the impression that I get. So we have Alicia, she's 23. She's a team organizer for the railway. And she said she's from Rotherham, I think, something like that. I didn't quite hear where she said she's from. She decided to go on a date with Tommy, Finley, and Lorenzo. That was something. So with her date with Tommy, they talked about nice eyes, pretty face. She said he looks better in person. He said he was open, and he said it will take a lot to turn his head, but he was open for a few more chats. I don't know. I feel like someone like Tommy is looking at the optics and thinking to himself, should I mess about or should I just stay in my couple with Yasmin? And I think he's going to stay in his couple with Yasmin because he wants the security of staying in the villa. I don't know whether he thinks that, she is the best match for him or she's more likely to keep him in there. There's nothing about the two of them that I've seen that stands out. So I don't know why he didn't entertain Alicia more. Saying that, Finley, oh my God, Finley is gone. Finley is smitten. Finley, you can actually tell from look at Finley's body language. I remember I said this in All Stars when people were saying, oh, Scott doesn't like Leanne, blah, blah. I said, look at the body language. The problem is this time is the opposite with Finley. Finley is gone. Finley is smitten. The smile, the way he keeps looking at her, the way he leans towards her, tells you he likes Alisa more than he ever liked Ellie. I think he was content to put up with Ellie because Ellie would keep him the furthest in the villa. But I think sadly for him, the shine has worn off. So they spoke about the fact that, she said she likes an Irish accent. She then asked him, how tall are you? He said he's 6'2". And then he got her to 12 for him and was saying, you are my type on paper. You're everything I would normally go for, the look, the hair, the guys. And it's like, so why are you with Ellie? Why are you with Ellie if she's not your type? And so they had this conversation whether, he would turn his head and he said that thing would really need to be very good in order for him to turn his head. His head is turned. He's just saying what he feels like, everyone will want to hear. I can't wait for Graph Cheese. Anyway, he said he's open to chats. He said he really likes her. He really likes her. I think he really likes her. I think he is going to couple up with her if he can. And then you had Lorenzo. Lorenzo was very flirty. I think Lorenzo is in self-sabotage mode because he said to her, you've got great eyes. He then spoke about kissing. He said, did you want to kiss me? He said he's not closed off. The energy was good, and he was open to exploring. I think he was just saying that just for the sake of it. He was saying it just for the sake of it. He then asked her, "How would you feel if I wanted to get to know your friends or wanted to flirt with your friends?" And it's like, Lorenzo, don't be silly. This is why I love Julia for him, because Julia is able to contain him and sort of rein him in when he starts sort of going wild. So I can't wait to see what happens there. But I don't think he's going to entertain that because Julia, I think, is his best partner is yet. We had Ethan, he's 28. He's a fitness coach from Nottingham. He says he lives in Dubai. He chose to go on a date with Priya, Jasmine, and Martha. And this is what I think. Sadly, the people he chose, or sadly, the girls in the villa are now starting to settle in their couples. The only person I think who's open is Priya. So he had a conversation with Priya, and you're saying to Priya, you've really had a hard time in the villa. You've really struggled to find your person. They spoke about the color of the eyes. He said, she was his main priority. I think he's going to couple up with her just because all the other girls are not giving him what they're supposed to give him. And so I think in the end, he's going to couple up with Priya unless Aiden sort of convinces Priya to say, you are my person. Jasmine. This man is the same age or slightly older than her. He appears to possess the emotional intelligence that she needs. So the idea that she's still with Kevin or didn't entertain this man, I don't get it. She said this was her first date. He said he's a relationship man, and he likes her attitude and the way she carries herself. And it's like the things that someone is criticizing you for are the things that someone is uplifting you for, and yet you can't see that because you're in this situation whereby you've decided that you're going to stay in a couple with this man. And they spoke about, her saying she's in a good place with Kevin, and so she was going to continue to sort of explore that with Kevin. And it's like, I don't get it. I really don't get it, and it's a wasted opportunity, really, on Jasmine's part. Martha, well, there was a conversation about eyes and that her eyes are very insane. He said he was attracted to her. And they spoke about quiet confidence and ambition. She said she wants a man who's, quietly confident. She wants someone who's ambitious, and she wasn't sure if she was open. I think she's not sure she's open because she knows that if there's a vote, there is a possibility that if she messes up, people will dump her. So I think this is the only reason why she stayed in there. Otherwise, she would have been more open to exploring this man. I personally don't understand why she did that. I think Martha and Jasmine should have been open to exploring with this man because he appears to possess the more emotional intelligence that they need than anything else. I don't trust Jordan, but anyway, that's me. So in the bedroom, you had the guys having a conversation with Aiden and Jordan saying they're worried because they are not yet closed off with their partners. They're new couples, so they don't know what their partners are going to be saying to the new bombshell. But it's like the two of you need to pack your bags and go home. Aiden should have gone home a long time ago. I don't know who he knows who keeps sending him girls and keeps keeping him in the villa. He's not bringing anything to the show. You then had Alisa and Ethan sort of sit down and have a conversation about their dates and who they felt they liked. I think there was an understanding that some people were really closed off. Alisa, on her part, was shocked that with Lorenzo, he was that open. She expected him to be closed off. I don't think he should have been closed off, but I think he shouldn't have over-flirted the way he did. He is saying he's open to exploring because he's not 100% set in his couple, but it's really sad that, hopefully something changes. You had everybody else at the mini fire pit, obviously the people that had gone on the dates, sort of start laughing and saying that, Finn is gone, he really likes this girl. And it's like, we all see that Finn is gone. Finn really likes the girl. And so everyone was worried for Ellie that how will Ellie feel? The rest of the islanders came out to meet the new bombshells, and then the boys went and sat and had a conversation. The girls sat and had a conversation, and it came out that Finn twirled the new bombshell. Ellie wasn't happy. Ellie was very sad and she was worried. Everyone has every right to be worried. The problem with Ellie is production have really brought her in guy after guy after guy. And sadly, every single guy that they've brought in for her, she hasn't clicked. And she thought she had clicked with this guy. Sadly, she hadn't. And so it's really sad to think that, this is where they are. On his part, you had Lorenzo say, he enjoyed the chat. He was open to having more conversations, and you'll see. And it's like Lorenzo needs to really mind his business and be careful, because otherwise, once he loses Julia, he's not going to find any other girl that will entertain him the way she does. The girls were asking, they were told that, Finn said he was open, and also that Lorenzo was very flirty out of everyone. Julia didn't like this. She really didn't like this. She went for a chat with Lorenzo, and she said, I spoke to the new bombshell and she said you were the most open. You were very flirty with her. Lorenzo decided to be jokey and he said, yeah, I asked for a kiss. She had great eye contact, but she said no. And for, Julia to say to him, are you Aiden? Are you Aiden? Why are you asking for a kiss? And it's like, that's Aiden's default. Every girl he wants to kiss. Every girl, he's got no chat, so every single person he meets, he wants to kiss and move on. So I get why she was asking him that, are you Aiden? Why do you feel the need to constantly kiss people? And I was just laughing and like, oh my God, this girl. Anyway, so you have the islanders then hang in the den. And so they were having a conversation. You had Priya, Yasmin, Samraj, Micah, Jordan, and Lorenzo. So they were chatting about the date and sort of wanting to find out what happened on the date. It came out that Finley asked the girl to twirl, and everybody was wondering whether Ellie knew about this and how she felt about it. Lorenzo was called out for being overly flirty, and he said, but I didn't ask her to twirl, so I'm in a better position than Finn. And it's like, Lorenzo, please behave yourself, really behave yourself. You had Finley and Ellie go on a date they sat at the fire pit. And you could see from his body language immediately that he was trying to distance himself. And this is the problem in the villa. If you're not 100% sure about your connection, don't be physically intimate with someone. Because Ellie in the last episode was physically intimate with this guy, and now he's moving on to somebody else. She said, I heard you enjoyed your date. He said, yes, she's fun. He's open to more chats. He hasn't really been tested. And Ellie was questioning, what do you mean you haven't been tested? I thought Casa was a test. Oh, I took Casa as a test. How can you say you want another test when you've already been tested? Like, oh, this is messy. This is really messy. So I can't wait to see what happens. Ellie then stormed off. She had a conversation with Jasmine and Priya and Micah, and she was saying she feels some type of way because she has found her person and it seems her person hasn't found her. And it's like, I said it before, Finley, I didn't feel he was 100% for her. But if she feels it's 100% for her, that's on her to sort of work with. But I, as a viewer, didn't think that Finley was 100% set on Ellie. So the idea that she feels that way, I don't know. You had the boys, you had Tommy, Finley, and Lorenzo having a conversation. And the boys were laughing at Finley because everybody can see that Finley is smitten. He really likes, the bombshell Alisa. So it's going to be, how does he navigate that? And how does he sort of let Ellie off gently without sort of ruining his reputation in the villa? And it's really sad because a lot of people like Ellie. So if he doesn't maneuver that very well, he is going to be on the next flight to Wales. You had the islanders getting ready for the night. Obviously, the girls feel some type of way. They feel challenged or intimidated by the fact that there's now a new bombshell and their guys are most likely going to have their heads turned by the new bombshell. And so it's just a matter of sitting and waiting. And it's like, yeah, it is a sit and wait game, and hopefully someone finds their person. They all came out, picked up their drinks, and then you had Ethan go for a chat with Ellie. That was a wasted opportunity, in my opinion, because I don't think Ellie was feeling him. Sadly for Ellie, she is in a no-win situation whereby she likes someone who doesn't like her. And so it's up to her to decide, does she want to continue to explore this thing with this person or does she want to go home? Because she immediately shut down Ethan. And it's like, it's too soon for you to be shutting down someone, especially if you haven't cemented what you have. She said, I found my person. I'd rather go home than to continue to fake something. And it's like, okay, if that works for you, amazing. It really is amazing. And I hope this man doesn't let you down. You had Alisa go for a chat with Aiden, and she was sort of saying to Aiden, I don't understand you. You're a mystery. You're something that I'm still trying to get my head around. Aiden, for me, is just there for the vibes and to stay on TV for as long as he can and get as much clout as he can. He doesn't bring anything to the show apart from asking for kisses, and that's it. So her flirting with him and saying, I wasn't sure about you, I don't think she likes him. I think all the girls get an ick from Aiden, but they are willing to tolerate him because I think they see that he is the producer's favorite. You then had Lorenzo have a conversation with Julia, and Julia was still in her feelings because she's saying to him, I don't understand why you felt the need to ask for a kiss. You could have had a conversation without asking for a kiss because that is disrespecting me. At least respect me if you say you like me as a partner. It's really sweet that, Julia brings this side of Lorenzo out of him because he's always trying to make eye contact with her. You can see he really likes her, but he's got this internal battle whereby he doesn't know, is he really ready to sort of shut everyone else down and pursue Julia until the very end? I think he is. Ellie was in the den. She was speaking to Jasmine and Mike and was saying, I'm at the point whereby I don't want to continue to explore with people unnecessarily. I found my person. If he doesn't find me, then I'm ready to go home. I'd rather go home than to stay here and continue to force something that's not working. And it's like, if you want to go home, we're here. Good for you. The EasyJet is still running. At that point, Finley went for a chat with Alisa. Finley was smitten. He really was smitten. So they went for a conversation, and you could see from his body language, yes, he was sort of leaning away his top half, but his bottom half was towards her, and she was leaning into him, and he didn't leave a gap. He didn't. I think he was being performative to try and pretend like he's not interested, but you can see he's really interested in this girl. And the only reason why he might not couple up with her, or the only reason why he might not choose her, is because he's worried about Ellie. That's it. Lorenzo went for a chat with Alisa, and they were talking, and he was saying, he's been in a couple of couples, and his best couple yet is Julia. He feels like Julia has been his best couple, and he's really enjoying that, but he's also not sure whether he's ready, to end coupling up with people, because he is yet to explore connections and find his person. I think he's sort of a bit conflicted. He didn't know whether he was there to find his person or whether he's just there on a lad's holiday. He was called out by Alisa that, are you sure you want to leave you with someone, or are you just doing it for the sake of doing it? And he said, well, I'm not sure if I'm open to having another couple or being in another couple. Lorenzo's found his person. It's just a matter of Lorenzo catching up. The difference with Lorenzo and the situation with Finley is, at least Lorenzo, you can see he's really trying to be the best version of himself around, Julia. When he upsets her, he immediately, you can see him sort of reflecting and thinking, how do I correct this? Whereas with Finley, that's not the case. Anyway, Finley then went up to the terrace with Ellie, and he was saying to her, I want to sit on the left, I want to sit on the left. I think he wanted to sit there, that way the boys wouldn't see him, because you had the brothers, well, you had Aiden and Tommy sitting down by the fire pit, and so he was having a conversation with Ellie, and Ellie was saying to him, if you are saying you're open to exploring with this girl, and if you are going to explore with this girl, then I'm done. I'm going home. And he was questioning, so are you going to seriously leave because of that? And she said, yes. I feel like if you're not a couple with someone, don't threaten them. Allow them to be, because you cannot control another person. They are going to do what they want to do, so you have to do what is best for you, which means if you're going home, just go home quietly. You don't need to ring the bells and shout for everybody to hear that you've decided to go home. It's not necessary, really. Anyway, I can't wait to see what happens there. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 38. Bye, guys.